So what is it you do after qualification or final heat? What are the steps you're going to check, and what's the procedure to prepare your car fully? I'm going to show you. So first off, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to clean the car. Nobody wants to work on a dirty car, but besides that, on a dirty car you can't see any failures or problems with the car, and on a clean car you can. So first off, just grab a brush or something and make sure you clean your car. You can get compressed air if it's at the local facility. If it's not, just grab some brushes and make sure you're gonna brush it off. So after you brushed it off, you're gonna check the car, and I'm choosing to let the battery in because I'm gonna use it for setting up and checking ride height and stuff. So this set of tires is used now. I'm not gonna use this anymore. So the first thing I will do is just change the tires for a new set or a good set. When you have a new true set, you can check the ride height and you will see it's just completely good, completely equal. When you have a used set, you have to take care you watch the rotation of the driving rotation of the track. So make sure the biggest tires go on the outside, depending if you have a clockwise or anti-clockwise track. So I'm using a used set, so I'm going to check which tire is the bigger one. This one is the bigger one. My track is anti-clockwise, so I'm putting the bigger tire on the right side. Normally on an anti-clockwise track, the right side tires have a higher wear than the left side tires. So that's why I'm putting it on the right side. I'm not going to put on the front tires yet, because the first thing you want to check after a run is camber. But the things you check will depend on how your run was. If you had a clean run without hitting anything or anyone, there's not much to check. However, if you had a hard run or you made a hard impact or hit somebody, you have to check more than with a clean run. So the first thing I'll check is camber. There's some margins in the carbon milling and in the screw holes. So with an impact, the front end can shift a bit. And it won't shift a lot, it will be just a tenth or maybe 2/10 of a camber difference. However, that difference is something you can feel. So I'm having the 1.5 strap on it, and it should be 1.5 on each side. If it's not 1.5, you can loosen and tighten the upper and lower screws and see if it will settle on its own. If not, you can use some force, but if you have to use some force, there's probably something bent or broken. I wouldn't like having forces in my car, because when you put it on a track and you maybe hit a curb or something, the force will just make it go back in the old position and have a different camber again. Then again, my car still has 1.5 on each side, so that's great. While I'm here, I could also check toe-in. It's a small step. It's not something I do after every run, but I'm here now. Just check toe-in. It's a small step, and it's fine. After that, you can put on the front wheels and just make sure you have physically inspected the car and the front end. I'm not going to change anything. The car felt good, so I'm not going to change the springs or the oil. So that's great. Sometimes with a frontal hit, the front bumper shifts, even though due to the same margins. So I like to untighten the screws and retighten them and get any tension out of the carbon or the alloy. It's just to make sure it won't put any tension on the body or put any tension on any other parts. So I got a better set of tires, a new set of tires. It's a used set, so it's 1 run old. But I'm going to check the ride height. It's something I do for everyone. You don't want to be scraping the carpet. You want to make sure your car is good. So I'm going to check the ride height. I start at the front. It's a tiny bit high, but it's okay. It's the same. If it's not the same, it could be that these plastic parts are worn out with a hard impact. Sometimes these get some play if you have a lot of impact or a lot of crashes, and then the chassis will just lower a bit on that side. But at this point it's still the same. Then I'm gonna measure center. It's a tiny bit high, still the same. And then I'm gonna measure the rear. Now I'm not feeling, it's maybe 1/10, maybe 1.8 difference or 1.5 difference, but it could be due to the difference in rear tires. So ride height's good. If you have some discrepancies in your ride height, make sure you're gonna check the car. If so, it could be that the top deck is tweaked. So if you made a hit, you're gonna make sure you're gonna loosen the 4 top deck screws or even the rears and redo them. I also would advise on checking the chassis with a ruler or a steel long part to make sure the chassis is straight. I have that in another video. It could also be that the rear pod has been bent, but that's harder to check. It's not something I do in between runs. But measuring all the ride height, I think my chassis is still straight. I could just quickly check, but this still looks straight. I've done this in another video explaining exactly how, but this is still straight, so that's fine. Okay, so ride height is checked, tweak has been checked, and the visual inspection has been done. The next thing you want to do is checking the preload on the springs and the tension if it's the same. Next up is checking the preload on the side springs and the front tires. There are multiple ways to do it. Some people have tools you put on the front axles and lift the car up. Some people use 2 coins and it's actually the same. And some people just rotate the wheels and then lower the car. All these things work. It's just the one you like the most or is easiest to work for you. However, when you do this, make sure your side tubes are disconnected. The thick oil can keep the car a bit angled and then your test won't be true. So make sure the side tubes are disconnected. You can just leave them like there, it's no problem. First off, the coin trick, just slowly lift the car and see which wheel drops first. This wheel drops first, so I need a little bit more tension on this side, a little bit less tension on that side. I think it's kind of close. However, if you need to rotate more than half or 3/4 of a turn, you should check your car, there's something wrong with it. After a run it shouldn't have that much of a difference. Well, now it's close to equal. So that's equal. You can also do the lifting the car, rotating the tires. It works the same. I think it's harder to see, but it works the same. Yeah, it's alright. Don't forget to connect your side tubes again. If it's really hard to get the coins right, I would suggest taking out the motor and try to take out the rear pod and check the rear pod for straightness. It's a hard job, so only if you have time enough to do it. I still have my old battery in it. I do this on purpose because you need to tweak and set up with the battery in it. Next up is making sure the battery is being changed. So the new battery is fully charged and I'm going to switch a new battery in. When putting in a battery, I always try to make one side of the rubber band go behind or in front the battery, just in which position it is. It just forces it slightly to stay in a better position. And after that, the car is pretty much done. But I would suggest just feeling your car. Make sure everything is right. Just feel the movement of the pod, feel the movement of the rear axle. Make sure there's a bit of play in there. Make sure there's enough play on your spur gear and pinion. Feel the front tires, feel if there's any excessive slop, maybe something got loose or something went wrong. And after that, it's time to sauce your tires, to put additive on your tires. The rear end, I normally put them in a vacuum. I like to vacuum my rear tires, but that's mainly on European carpets. In America, it's not really common to do that. so it has to suit your track. And on the front end, I like to use some tape or rubber O-rings. Both can work. You can put rubber O-rings on there. You could put tape on there. I like to put on tape just to make sure both sides are equal, so I have the same amount of additive on there. And the tape just prevents the additive from leaking any further than you want. So on this side it's like 12 mil of additive, which is what I run on this track. I don't want it to be 15 or 16 mil, but with this tape I can make sure it's the same on both sides and it won't leak any further. New tires do this a lot, used tires don't have it that much. I just like to use it. Rubber O-rings also work, and if you're a good, you can handle a brush really well. You could do it without, but I just like to do it with the tape. So after you put on the additive of the tires and you have some time left, I would advise you on checking your body. It's a mostly overlooked thing. I would advise on checking your body, make sure there's no cracks in the front end or the front splitter, and there's no cracks in the rear side, just to make sure the body is in one piece. It's going to take only a few seconds just to check it, so why not? And after that, I think you're all ready to go for another qualification or final. So if you find this video useful, please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I got different videos on 12 scale and on touring car, so have a look, and I hope you find this useful. Keep racing.